What's up, everybody? It's the failed one. Now let us continue on our journey through Lamento. Last we left off, Konoe was in the forest, and I believe we touched like a bracelet or something. So, he withdrew his hand in a panic, and his heart raced like it would burst. Ooh. A hot pulse beat through his ears. It felt like he had been struck from within. Konoe gritted his teeth and knelt down. His vision shook. Whether it was the ground, the air, or himself shaking, he couldn't tell. Konoe didn't understand what was happening. The intense pulsing didn't stop, and he began to pant. Damn, some serious shit is happening. Sweat rolled down his temple. It felt familiar. It felt just like when he empathized with someone. So, when you empathize with someone, that's kind of confusing. Konoe rubbed his forehead against the ground. A green color appeared and shook along with his vision. The green snake? Something rustled. Was it moving? Gradually, he realized this green color was of a forest. A vision was playing in his mind's eye without his permission. It was an odd feeling, like he was borrowing the sight of someone else. This wasn't his memory. Whose was it? It was definitely in the forest. He didn't recognize the sound. Even if he did, the ringing in his ears made it difficult to. Occasionally, the view tipped downwards where Konoe would see the ground. He seemed to be advancing, but where was he going? Meanwhile, Konoe's pain continued. Unable to endure it, he screamed out. The images blurred as if in a tandem with his spirit. Then the verdant memory ended. Konoe opened his eyes, stunned for a little while. He breathed harshly. The pain that tormented his body had inexplicably disappeared. Just now. Was it a dream? That's so weird. No, it was different. It wasn't a dream. Konoe was surely conscious. It was the forest. There was an image of the forest. I wonder what he really saw. Konoe slowly raised his body and looked at the bracelet resting at the roots of the tree. It looked like an ordinary bracelet at first glance, but when he touched it, it shocked him.
見えたんだ。そいつの記憶。
Ooh, who is it? Suddenly, he heard a voice from overhead. Who was it? Konoe jumped, but then laid down low. He looked over the surrounding grove, but there was nothing standing out in the deep green.
どこ見てんのさ。全然違うよ。
Where are you? A slightly high-toned voice echoed with laughter from all directions. He didn't know where it came from. Feeling like even his breathing was noisy, Konoe held his breath.
こっちだったら。
Where? You have a cute voice. He heard an impatient voice behind him. When Konoe turned around, a shadow jumped out. The shadow turned around in the air and landed before Konoe. A number of leaves fell and fluttered around. Konoe jumped back immediately. Skulls? Red?
ひどいな。そこまで逃げることないのに。
Looks like a Joker? A clown? The shadow was a boy dressed in strange red clothes. Smiling mischievously, he had pale skin that seemed almost transparent. Konoe fixed his eyes on him without dropping his guard. Sniffing the air, the boy didn't smell like a cat. I think that's his tail down there, which doesn't look like a cat tail. It looks more like a lizard tail. Besides that, he had a strange hairless and shiny tail, snaking between his legs. Yeah, that is his tail. He was not a cat. Konoe tensed even more. The boy clasped his hands behind his back and bowed mockingly.
ずいぶん用心深いんだね。リビカたちはみんなそうなの。でも心配しなくても何もしないから安心してよ。
Is this maybe our what the green snake turned into, you know, like actually characterized.
真っ黒になっちゃった猫さん。
And he's teasing kind. At his words, Konoe felt a shock that shook him from his tail to the tips of his ears. How did this strange boy know that?
お前、一体何者だ?
Konoe lowered his ears and glared at the boy, who put one hand on his waist and the other on his chest.
それじゃあまずは自己紹介から。俺はフィリー。以後よろしく。まあ敵か味方かって聞かれたら味方とは言えないだろうね。
Then what are you? The boy known as Fury lowered his head respectfully.
どうして俺のことを知ってる?
どうしてだと思う?
Anger rose in him because of Fury's teasing. Konoe growled as he felt like throwing himself on Fury at any moment.
いえ。
ああ、怖い怖い。そんなに怒るなよ。俺がどうしてお前を知ってるかとか、そんなのどうでもいいじゃないか。
Fury shrugged exaggeratedly.
だって世界は広いんだからさ。俺はお前にとっていかにも怪しいもの。そうなんだろ?
Yeah. You're very suspicious.
だったら怪しい俺がお前のことを知ってたって不思議でもなんでもない。違う?
I guess, but that makes you more suspicious, like we can't trust you more? Maybe? I don't know.
黙れ.
Konoe is definitely not pleased. I don't think he's used to this kind of teasing. He didn't want to hear such things. Konoe clenched his fist and felt a sharp prick. Instead of using his sword, Konoe wanted to strike him directly with his claws. When he sensed Konoe's anger, Fury took a step back.
おお、怖っ。そんなことよりもさ、もっと知りたいことがあるんじゃないの?
So you know
例えば、さっきの腕輪とか。
So he knows about the bracelet? The bracelet. When Konoe's expression changed, Fury laughed in triumph. He jumped off the ground and sat on the branch slightly higher than Konoe.
気になってるんだろ? その腕輪。そいつに触ったら変なものが見えちゃったもんだから。
I do wanna know. Fury made a gesture towards the offended object.
もう気づいてるかもしれないけど、お前が見たのは記憶。そいつの記憶さ。
So do we have this power now with our black ears and tattoos? We can see people's memories? Memories?
記憶?
そう、腕輪のね。
So objects' memories. Fury threw something down from the tree. It was a pendant. It was a little bit ornate, but was considerably old.
触れてごらんよ。
Fury shifted his feet and tilted his head.
触れてごらんったら。それとも怖いの? だったらやめれば? 別に無理強いしないし。
Konoe knew he was being provoked, but he was still angry. He half-heartedly reached for the pendant. I think we're gonna see another memory. His heartbeat pulsed as soon as his fingertip touched it. Again, this feeling, it was just like with the bracelet, the same sense of confusion, the reckless driving of his hardened body, the headache. Unable to stand any longer, Konoe fell to his knees. And we can barely see it. In his head, a memory began to play. This time, the image was of a room, but it was dark and unclear. So maybe we need to practice our memory seeing, or our ability, or something, because both memories are very, very grainy, and I can barely tell what's going on. The image shook. It felt like he was in a fight. Suddenly, a shadow covered his view. Breathing felt painful. He couldn't breathe. So do we feel what's going on in the memory too? Konoe gritted his teeth and endured it. His mind became numb and a high-pitched sound rang in his ears. Just as he thought he couldn't take it anymore, a strong sensation surged through his thoughts. I'm going to be killed. Konoe opened his eyes wide. He grasped the pendant tightly in his sweaty hand. Konoe turned his gaze overhead, his shoulders heaving as he panted. Fury smiled slightly and stared at him.
見えた?
Fury leapt off of the branch. Too many offs.
そのペンダントはね、ある少女が大切にしていたんだ。けどある日、少女は家に押し入ってきた強盗に殺された。
Okay, yeah, so we did feel her. Well, we did feel whatever was going through the memory.
ペンダントは少女の胸で揺れながら見ていた。少女の命が握りつぶされるまでの一部始終をさ。お前はその一端を共有して垣間見たってこと。
The memory of a murdered girl, the suffocating feeling returned to his chest, and Konoe furrowed his brows. He was unable to see the memory of these objects just by touching them, but
今までにこんなこと一度もなかった。
besides, what could he gain from the ability of seeing memories of objects? Empathizing with the emotions of others to this degree was difficult to deal with. The shock he felt when he watched the memory of an object felt the same as when he empathized with others. Konoe didn't need any more of this burden. Fury smiled mockingly at Konoe.
そりゃそうさ。だってそれはお前の中で新たに生まれた力なんだもの。
力？
そう。不可抗力ってやつ。そもそもお前の希望でどうこうできるような話じゃないのさ。ただし。
But we can perfect it? Can we? Make it stronger? Fury began to walk around him in a circle. His tail shook every time he stepped forward.
触れれば何でもかんでもってわけじゃない。記憶を見ることができるのはそれなりの思いや年月が詰まったものだけだ。それに見るのが嫌なら触れるものを意識しないようにすればいい。つまり
Fury stopped and stared defiantly at Konoe.
他のやつの感情に共感しないようにするのと同じことだよ。
So that is the feeling we were feeling before. Just how much did Fury know? Konoe felt like his fur was being rubbed the wrong way. I wonder what he is. Like, I don't think he's definitely... Fury is not a normal human being or cat or Rubika or whatever it is. He's different. I feel like he's like a supernatural being, even within this world, because it's too weird.
物の記憶を読み取る力、時間を遡る力。もちろん偶然そうなったわけじゃない。お前の体も何もかもがね。
どういう意味だ？
どういう意味でしょう。
Fury shrugged.
ふざけるな。お前は何をどこまで知ってる？
嫌だね。教えちゃったらつまらないだろ。だって人生は山あり谷ありの方が楽しいものね。お前たちが大好きな先祖二つ杖だっけ。あいつらもそうだったんだろ。悩んだり苦しんだりするためにあえて危ないところへ行ったり争いを起こしてたんじゃないの。今のお前は謎だらけ。困ってるしどうしていいのかわからないけど、悩んで苦しんであがいてごらんよ。それを見ている方がいらっしゃる。
見ている？
そう、見ているのさ。
Someone was watching him? Konoe shivered.
これは一つの試練。そう考えればいい。
試練？
そう、試練だよ。せいぜいあの方を楽しませてごらん。じゃなきゃ 死ぬだけだ。
どういうことだ。おい。
Of course he's gonna just run away before giving us all our answers. Fury kicked off the ground before Konoe finished speaking and jumped into a high branch behind him. He put a hand on his chest and theatrically lowered his head.
俺は開演する舞台の幕を上げに来たんだ。この絵、これからどうぞよろしく。じゃあね。
待て。
Konoe followed him and began to climb up the tree. However, Fury's body rose into the air. Fury twirled elegantly and twirled his tail, then vanished into thin air. Yeah, definitely a very mysterious character. Konoe stared at the shaking branch in disbelief. Konoe? That's what he'd called him. Fury knew his name. Oh shit, I didn't even realize that. His enemy knew about him. It was like someone was leading him by the hand through this series of events. His anger rose. Entertain him? What a joke. Why did he have to go through this? For what reason? Why? What happened? Konoe gritted his teeth and raked his nails against the ground with all his might. He didn't know why he was giving in to his anger, but he was unable to contain himself. He raised his arms and clawed furiously at the surrounding trees. He wanted to tear it all apart. Whenever his nails dug into the trunks, he felt an indescribable emptiness in his heart. Konoe wanted to tear apart the emptiness. He clawed at the trunks and tore the leaves. After raging for a while, he finally stopped. He crouched down and breathed roughly. Konoe's heartbeat had slowed down, but he was assaulted by an intense self-loathing and said, there wasn't any point in being so violent, it was useless. But it was unforgivable, even if it was all just coincidence. He needed to settle this. But Konoe knew it wasn't so. There was someone responsible for his hopeless situation. Was there? He didn't know if that boy Fury was telling him truth or lies, but he knew there was someone else involved. Until now, he had resolved to leave his hometown and nearly died, so then he wouldn't forgive anyone involved in this. Konoe sighed and looked down to his hands. His nails were torn because of his temper. He looked over his hand to soothe it. As he did so, Konoe remembered the emptiness he felt when he raged a while ago. After all, he couldn't do anything but move forward. If he stayed and let his anger fester, nothing would change. There was no other choice but to keep living. It was a feeling unlike surrendering. No, not long ago he would have thought of this as giving up. But something had changed in Konoe. He wanted to discover the true nature of the person driving him into this. He would find him and tear him apart with his claws and fangs. I think if I was Konoe, I would want to too. Although technically our life path was going towards death, and whoever pretty much did this to us is actually getting us to live, or getting Konoe to live, because I think he might have just let himself go into the sacrifice like a normal person's supposed to do. But because he had all these markings, he's like, screw this shit, I'm running, I want to live. So, in a way, we kind of have to thank him, because I think we would have been dead without all these things happening. Therefore, he had no choice but to move forward, even if he might fail. Feeling a new flame burn inside him, Konoe stood up. He cast his eyes to the pendant. He grabbed it by the chain and looked at it at eye level. After seeing the memory, he didn't want to handle it carelessly. Konoe quietly put the pendant near the bracelet. He cast his eyes between the two. When he saw the memory of the bracelet, Konoe felt the presence of someone in agony. The presence was fresh. Maybe the person had been here recently. Not even a day seemed to have passed since it had been tossed aside. He touched it once more. That was the thought that crossed his mind. Even though there would be agony once more, just thinking about it made his ears lower, but maybe he'd find some clues. After hesitating, Konoe took a small breath and made up his mind. He held his hand out to the bracelet. His trembling fingertip touched the surface lightly. His heart raced. He felt himself being pulled back into the whirlpool of torture. Okay, so we can, like, go into memories more than once. Putting a hand against a tree trunk to support his body, Konoe concentrated on the image that began to form in his mind. The green light scattered and the image cleared bit by bit. Oh, it's bigger now. Something like clothing was reflected in the edge of his vision. This presence. It was definitely a cat. On the move. Before long, a small puddle entered his field of vision. It was the place where Konoe was now. Then, the image of a large bag appeared. He couldn't see it clearly, but it seemed to be filled with lots of different things. The image shifted in and out of the bag several times. Then the view moved slightly. Then, he saw the ground. For an instant, he saw something like the hem of a coat. Something chased him, but then the memory cut off. He let go of the bracelet. Konoe exhaled when he was freed from the pain. He raised his head, looked back at the puddle. The owner of the bracelet seemed to have passed through here. He should go that way too. Konoe lifted his bag and began to walk after checking the position of the moon of light. So I guess we're going on a chase. Konoe threaded through the grove. From there, the scenery continued on and on, just like a maze. And I'm going to end this episode here. I hope you guys enjoyed. We got to meet a new mysterious character. And well, technically this whole episode, we were in the same place. Nothing really happened. Like, we didn't move along. But we are going to move along now and go through our journey, and I guess now we have a goal, like an actual goal of not just to survive, but we are trying to look for somebody. So, I will see you guys next time. Bye!